YouTube, Sequence Chubby here with a review of the World of Nintendo 3-inch figure series 1-1. All the series of these toys are all named after levels. So this is 1-1, the next wave will be 1-2, so on and so forth. So it's actually pretty interesting. For those of you that don't know, World of Nintendo is the catch-all banner for all Nintendo products that are released right now through Jakks Pacific. So you've got the 3-inch figures, you have 5-inch scale figures, you have, I think, 7 or 8-inch scale figures, then you have plushes, the Micro series, the Mario Kart pullback cars, all classified under the World of Nintendo, with all the first waves being classified under this 1-1 sort of heading. So our first set of the 3-inch figures, which is my favorite of the price points, it's very much affordable at $3.99 a pop. Definitely not that bad at all. $4.99 in some locations. So kind of poke around. I've seen these at Target and I've seen these at Toys R Us. Those are about the only two locations besides like GameStops and stuff that I've been able to find these things. So take that as you will. I picked all of these up at Toys R Us, but like I said, I've seen them at Target as well. So our first set brings us Fire Mario, Ice Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong. So as you can see right here, they kind of differentiate the colors of the packages depending on what series they belong to. So everyone in the Mario series is going to have a red World of Nintendo box, while everyone from the Donkey Kong series is going to have a yellow World of Nintendo box with Donkey Kong in the corner instead of Mario. Future Zelda releases will have Link and be green. I know we're also doing Metroid as well. I'm not sure what color that is, but it's pretty neat, and I really dig the way that they're differentiating everything, so that is overall pretty cool. So let's go ahead and finally get these guys open and take a look. Alright, so here's our gang out of package, 2 of which are evidently just passed out, but we'll wake them up to take a look at their figures. So let's go ahead and take a look at these one by one. Here is Fire Mario, and I'm not sure why they didn't just start with a simple Mario and Luigi and went with Fire Mario and Ice Luigi instead, but I don't particularly mind. I've got plenty of Mario figures, but only a couple of Fire Mario, so it's nice to see a Fire Mario figure right off of the bat. And outside of a couple paint splotches, the red in here is seeping into the chest right there. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but that is a little bit off-putting. But outside of that, I mean, the sculpting detail on the figure itself is actually quite remarkable for a simple $3.99, $4.99 figure. The head sculpt is done very well. I don't have any problems with the head sculpt. I think it's actually quite good. So that is always nice to see. So like I said, outside of some paint bleed, which you're always going to have with figures of this type, it's a great sculpt of Mario for sure. Now, the only issue here is articulation is in the hands, so you get a rotation there, which is great, and that's fine. There isn't any in the legs. The legs are completely solid. So you're going to wind up with some stabilization issues. Mario's not too bad. I mean, if you start pounding the table, you might wobble a bit, but Mario's pretty solid. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at Ice Luigi, Bro's got a little bit of issues. He leans back quite a bit, so if you start wobbling whatever surface he's on, he's falling, for sure. He's going down, he's yelling timber. You better move. I'm not even going to bother doing that anymore. So it's a nice looking figure, absolutely, for sure. I don't have too many paint splotches on Ice Luigi, so a pretty good job there. Our articulation in the shoulders here, you get 2 swivels there, and you can kind of use those to try to balance him out, get a little bit of more weight going forward, and you got a pretty stable Luigi, but again, it's pretty easy to knock him over. So if you do put these guys up on a display, I do recommend sticky tack on the bottom of their feet or double-sided tape to whatever surface you're putting him on to make him a little more secure. His balancing just has some issues. Now, Wario's pretty fantastic. Wario is a creepy little mofo, but I really dig what they got going here. It's a great representation of the character. He looks menacing, weird, and angry, just like Wario should be. He's kind of doing his iconic laugh with his grippy rage hands that he's got going on. Now, he does have some pretty stocky little feet down here, which is perfect. He has absolutely no problem standing whatsoever. He's probably the most solid of the group, for sure, when it comes to standing. Articulation, you got swivel in the shoulders, just like all the other ones. You have to kind of break the paint a bit there to get those going. So you got that going, and he has a rotation on the head as well, so he can look a little bit to the left and the right. Wario is probably my favorite of the bunch. They did a great job on his sculpt, and I really dig what they got going. I got a minor paint scuff on the double chin that he's got going on there. But outside of that, again, a great sculpt for little Wario. Waluigi, on the other hand, is a figure I really wanted to like. I don't have any representations of Waluigi on any of my Nintendo displays, so I was very much looking forward to picking up a Waluigi figure. But alas, he has the most issues. He cannot stand at all. There's no saving this guy at all. He leans too far forward when you got his hands back there. If you raise his hands up a bit, he still leans too far forward. His feet aren't flat enough to support how stocky he is. And then he's kind of in that usual Waluigi crouched position that just leads to him falling flat on his face all the time. So that is very much unfortunate. Like I said, if you do want to put these on display, I recommend sticky tack or double-sided tape, because you're not going to get too far trying to stand him up on his own. That being said, again, great sculpt and pretty good paint. I don't have any paint splotches on this guy that are very much noticeable. So definitely a great job. And like I said, I don't really have any form of Waluigi on any of my displays, so I enjoy having him. I just really wish these guys would stay better or have come with some sort of stand with holes in the feet that you could peg them into or something like that. Just to give them some sort of stability, because this is really sad. Donkey Kong, like Wario, is pretty solid. You have a nice texture here for the fur, and you got a little bit extra articulation going with not only swivels in the head, loose swivel in the head, and the shoulders, but you have a little bit of swivel there at the hips too, so you can get a little bit wider of a range of motion down there to get him in a position to where he's very comfortable standing. So he's a little bit wobbly at times, but it's a lot easier to get him in a pose that sticks as opposed to Waluigi, who can't move his legs. The tie can actually move around a bit if you so choose, which is kind of cool. DK on there, nice and printed, and again, no real paint scuffs or anything, so a wonderful little figure of DK. And finally, we have Diddy, one of my mains in Smash Bros. And one of my favorite Donkey Kong characters ever since Donkey Kong Country. So, I really dig Diddy. I don't really have too many problems with him. There's a couple paint scuffs in his eye, but nothing that's really going to bother me when it's sitting on my Nintendo shelf. There looks like there's a scuff back there on his hat. It could just be a clip, but it looks like the hat's broken or something. But he does have movement in his arms, as gross looking as that is. And then back there, though he can't really get too far forward, now it kind of looks like he's throwing gang signs. So I don't know if you particularly want to do that. Just keep him scratching his head. His hand here does help support him from falling forward. So he stands pretty solid. He unfortunately does not have any movement in his feet or legs, so you're going to be a little bit reliant on that hand to keep him up. But a very nice little rendition of Diddy. He's another one of the characters that I really don't have a whole lot of display. So despite the fact that Luigi and Waluigi have some problems standing, Waluigi a lot of problems standing, I definitely can recommend these at the $3.99 price point. It's just a pretty solid figure for the price that you're paying, especially when some of these characters don't get a whole lot of public recognition outside of like the Connects lines or something like that. Waluigi doesn't get a whole lot of merchandise, and there's Fire Mario or Ice Luigi, or Diddy Kong for that matter. So it's always cool to get figures of them, especially right off of the bat. Jakks Pacific's got a lot of promise for this line with Link and Ganondorf coming out next. There's been some Metroid ones rumored, a lot of pretty cool Mario characters on the horizon as well. I think Dixie's been rumored too. So it looks to be a pretty expansive and fun line to collect. So if you're looking for a fun little sort of figure scale to pick up some Nintendo characters in, I would definitely take a look at these. They're great sculpts and great paint for the price you're paying. So I definitely recommend them in that regard. So thanks for watching. Take care and have a great one. Bye.